Heads up.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Free Agent Real Estate Investing Podcast. My name is Stratton Brown.
And my name is Michael Butler. Thank you guys for tuning in with us today.
Just some quick housekeeping things. If you guys need cold callers for any industry or any type of VA, go to callmagicians.com. They'll take care of you. They're the best in the industry. And you have anything else, Mike?
Yes, if you guys are looking to comp properties, you're looking to pull list, all that good stuff, in my in my bio on Instagram, go ahead and click that Linktree link and sign up to Propstream.
Awesome. Today, guys, we're going to be talking about a couple things. We're honestly probably going to hit a little bit on personal brand again, but we're going to go with talking to sellers, the do's and the don'ts, and how you want to carry yourself. We're going to talk about the real estate do's and your don'ts and ethics, and then when you should go into a partnership, even if you should go into a partnership, and what you should be looking for if you go into a partnership. But we'll start off, man. Let's just talk about how's your week going? How's business?
Hey, man, my week is doing good, man. I'm trying to think kind of what's going on. It's funny because we talk about this every week, and every week I seem like I'm caught off guard with it, right? This week, you heard about the two properties that we locked up last week. You're a little upset about that one. I think we weren't friends. We weren't friends for like 2 days, bro. You know, last time we were on a podcast, you were super supportive, but I think when you found out what deal it was, bro, at that point you kind of turned your back on me, man.
Let's fucking tell the world this.
Let's do it.
Let's fucking tell the world. All right. So this is probably, I think, one of the biggest failures in my personal life as far as a fat deal on the line, because I knew I could have bought it and made an absolute killing. But I quit following up with her because she sounded like a drunk. And I was like, bro, I don't want to deal with this lady, right? Every time I call her, she'd be talking and slurring her words. And even though those are sometimes good sellers, I'd been talking to her for, I swear to God, 1.5 years. And so I'd been talking to her, and Michael ends up locking up the deal. They're going to assign this deal for close to 6 figures. And I know I had better rapport with her because I'd been talking to her. And if anything, I did. That was my lady.
Bro. That's subjective. That is very subjective.
If anything, I could have split a very, 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 a bigger assignment fee with Mike. But I low-key, I think I just moved her off of my follow-up. I was like, I really don't want to call this lady anymore. And then I think my leads manager has her on like a 3-month touch, even though we try everybody every 30 days. And so my negligence just cost me a big chunk of change. Let's just say that. My negligence cost me a big chunk of change.
Man, it's okay, man. It stings a little bit. You know, I hate that you were just so supportive of me, and then all of a sudden it's just like that. It just hit a hard left. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. It was a lot of follow up though. Huh?
I didn't talk to Mike for 2 days.
Yeah, I actually called you. I called you in the middle of the night one day, and I was like, "Hey, bro, are we still friends?" And then you asked me to do something or something. You called me something. I said, "Don't talk to me like that if we're not friends. Can't ask me those type of questions." But yeah, man.
So
what's up?
Listen. Follow up.
Yeah,
I should have just had because I have a leads manager now, right? And it fell through the cracks, and this shit will happen for everybody. Some random Joe Schmo is still doing deals, right? Mm-hmm. And it's because our follow-up is lacking, because at this point I have every single phone number in Central California. And so do all the other investors that we know, right?
Yeah.
It's timing and follow-up.
100% follow-up. You see my TikTok?
No.
I did a follow-up TikTok on that deal. Let's see. It was you were the the energy behind it, because I felt so bad afterwards, and I was like, my man lost the deal because he stopped following up. And so I made sure that the TikTok was like, follow up, follow up, follow up. The money is in the freaking follow up.
What happened? We talked afterwards, and then
You're like, tell me about the deal.
And then I go upstairs and I tell Kalani, and I'm just like, I was like upset for a solid 12 hours. Like I went to bed upset. I went to bed upset at myself, right? Like I'm not mad. My friend just made a whole ton of money, but I was like,
it hasn't closed yet. If it makes you feel better.
No, I mean it better close. Fuck face. That shit better close,
bro. Nowadays, bro, this shit nothing surprised me in this business. I try not to get too high. I try not to get too low.
Right, staying stoic is a part of it. It's the deal's not closed, so that money's in the bank account. Something could go wrong with the wire.
Bro, how sad is that, bro?
They can send that wire to the wrong spot. They've been sending you checks all year long, and then, oops, sorry, we sent it. I don't know where it is.
I thought you wanted a wire. Since when have I taken a wire? So,
you don't do wires?
Well, on my JV deals, I don't. It depends on who the partner is.
With Dean, I don't.
To keep it clean, we just do it. We do it another way, and we just 1099 each other.
Yeah.
It's just it makes the escrow process a whole lot simpler.
So much better, bro.
Yeah.
So much better. And so, if you are JVing with someone, don't get yourself excluded from the deal unless you know said person really well, or if it's like a Keegley and like they have a proven process of what they're doing.
Yeah.
Dean disposed a lot of stuff for both of us.
For sure. Dean's not going to ruin no relationship over 20 grand. Right. At the end of the day, so. So Cletus.
A handful of people to where, we got 4 comments in here.
What up, Cletus? No, that's us.
Oh.
Hey guys, make sure you share this stream, share this live stream, get your friends and family in here. Kind of to add on to that a little bit, we just finished doing our intro and our outro, right? We're getting ready to hit on some type of podcasting platform. So you guys should be able to tune into us in your cars, in your radio.
But we still get we get a ton of traction on Facebook, honestly.
Yeah.
We get a ton of traction on Facebook, way more than I do on YouTube. But I was talking to someone, it's like, bro, you don't want to do lives on YouTube. It doesn't help with the algorithm.
Yeah.
But I don't want to go post it afterwards, so I'm lazy.
So thank you guys for tuning in, man. Like I said, go ahead and like it for us and share it with some friends. Let's get some people in here. Start thinking of some questions. Get those ready to roll at some point in this during the show. And man, we're looking forward to interacting with you guys.
So let's I had to deal with some ethics issues from someone else this week, and so did you.
Yeah,
bro. And so we ended up not doing business with someone because we thought the ethics were a gray area in a new business venture that my partner and I were going into.
Shady as shit.
Somewhat shady, right? That we were just like not okay with it. And then we learned that another company is like pretty much copying Call Magicians to a T, which was ridiculous. But your ethics, man, I'm telling you, it's so important, because if you get blackballed in this industry, there are very few people who I cannot connect with like within a phone call, right? And that's for mainly everyone in our industry. Once you go to a mastermind, you're connected to really anybody. Like, hey, do you know someone who knows someone? Or even on social media, I can reach out. And so once you get blackballed with one it's hard. What is what's his name? Warren Buffett say it takes 80 years to build a reputation in just like 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
3 minutes to destroy it all. Just one bad decision. So we dealt with that, and then I had to we made another decision because birds of a feather flock together, right? And so we can't be seen with said people if they're getting blackballed because they're like, well, what type of person is said person?
Yep.
Right. And so we
Why
got
you hanging out with them? Why you doing business with them?
Why are you doing business with them if they're like that?
Yeah.
Right. And so
at some point you don't see nothing wrong with it. Like even if you believe that was like one bad decision, the way that it's gonna look, the perception of that is gonna be like, but you've let that person think that it's okay. So that means you must do something similar.
Right. And I mean, do your research, ask said party about the situation. But at the end of the day, I was talking to my mentor about it, right? And he was like, bro, use your gut. You'll never be wrong. He was like, you'll never be wrong. Like you'll make more money.
Yeah.
You'll figure out how to do it some other way. Don't even worry about it. Just use your gut and keep on pushing. Let's talk about your situation.
And man, these situations is hard, honestly, for me to even talk about, just because, not to talk about, but just because people should know, you know what I mean? And I've never been the person to just sit there and be like, this one right here. Like, you know what I mean? I've just always just been able to just keep it pushing. But then, I was talking to my wife about it, and I was just like, I'm not the person. I'm not the person to just throw people out there like that. You know what I mean? That's just, it's in my character, And so she's like, but then if you don't, it happens to other people, then that's your fault too. And I'm like,
that's a hard one.
Yeah.
Right. Because you don't want to, again, you don't want to be bad ethically or violate your own personal character or like set of values.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You don't want to be known as a person like, I got to be on my toes every time I talk to him. You know what I mean? He's gonna blast me. Like, you know what I mean? Because I'm not that type of person, and so it puts you in a tough situation because you don't want to be that person, but then you also understand that you got to protect other people. And this, excuse me, nasty. And this situation is tough just because it's someone that I knew since high school. You know what I mean? It's someone that I figured I knew pretty damn well, and just it never would have crossed my mind that it would even happen that way.
Just tell me about the situation.
Okay. So I had a lead that I started in 2019. So this was September 2019. I started talking to the seller. And whatever, it became one of those long-term follow-ups because in order for that person to make that next step, it took other things to fall into place, right? So at that point, those long-term follow-ups, they're in your CRM, but it becomes one that you just you build that rapport and you just got their number on, speed dial in your phone. So because you're just calling them once a month, whatever, just, to keeping up with them. So I had been at a point, obviously in September of 2019, my Podio was still kind of bare. And so late last year, I started doing a lot of stuff to my Podio. So when you change out like phone numbers, the way that it's formatted, things to make it flow a little bit better or integrate with other systems. So I went back, so I didn't have multiple phones and numbers and stuff like that. I just deleted like the old ones to replace them.
Yeah.
Well, when you do that, that information that's on your older leads gets wiped out, which I wasn't tripping because the deal's either closed or I have the number in my phone or I have it on another platform, right? And so I had someone who was pretty much reached out to me last year wanting to learn how to do wholesaling, getting the wholesaling. I'm like, oh, that's my boy. For sure, I got you. You know what I mean? That whole go-giver mentality, right? And so I brought him on, not even as an employee. It was strictly commission. They were going to learn how to cold call, just learn the game. You know what I mean? So I set them up on call tools, set them up on call tools, paid for it, got them into my CRM, paid for data, just because it was helping me out at the same time. And basically what ended up happening, the person started getting a little bit more independent. It was one of those things, they weren't so active, but I'm not going to sit there and be like, hey, you got to be doing this, you got to be doing this, you got to be doing that, because I'm not paying the dude. You know what I mean? And so as they started to feather off, Chris came on, and Chris had kind of just been hitting it, just going. And so at that point, I'm really not worried about it. But again, that's my boy. I'm going to keep him on there in case, he decided one day he's going to knock out 8 hours cold calling. Anyways, he had been inactive for like 2 months. I had already I had him on Propstream too. So, you know what I mean? Like I just put him on all this stuff. So he's really wholesaling at this point with having no overhead. Zero overhead. And so this lead, once I realized that the number wasn't in my CRM, I went ahead and since I had it in my phone, I was like, oh, let me put it on the CRM in case Chris wants to follow up with him at a later date or whatever it may be. And whenever you update anything on Podio for activities, it pops up, right? And so at that point, when I updated it, I got a comment underneath that lead saying, met with seller, said that they were talking to you, Michael, and that they looked, basically the situation's still the same, that you had been on top of it. And it kind of like threw me through the loop because I'm like, bro, like what? I'm like, this is an old lead. It didn't even come in as a new lead. So there was no task to like follow up the person. It was nothing. Plus, I ain't heard from you in 2 months. You know what I mean? And so when this lead pops up, it just happens to be in that person's hometown. So, you're sitting there on you're sitting there, you get a notification. Oh, this is right down the street. Let me go check it out. Like, that's how it had to happen, bro. Like, there's nothing else about it. So I was like, oh, why'd you go talk to the seller? And it was like, oh, I just drove by and seller was outside. And so I just stopped to talk to him. So to me, it was already kind of like, but again, I mean, he put this stuff in Podio. So I'm like, it was red flags, but at the same time, if it was like some shady stuff, it would have been like, you know what I mean?
Are you stupid? Like, it's a stupid thing to do, right?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Exactly. And so at that point, I'm just like, you know what? The person's not really active like that. There's really no need for me to continue to have to share this stuff. Plus, my texter was starting to do a little bit more for me, and I needed to add him on the Podio. And I couldn't do that because you can only have that type of access for certain people without paying for more. And I wasn't going to pay for more if this person's not even active. So I took them off. Literally 10 seconds after I took them off, I got question marks as a text message. Send me a text message, question marks. And I'm like, I got to put my texter on there, bro. You're not really active. I had to take you off, right? Fast forward to this week, I'm calling this seller. Again, I'm following up with him. I'm like, hey, how's it going? Missed your call last week, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah, I spoke to so-and-so. He came by, talking to me. I was like, yeah, they told me, da, da, da. He's like, yeah, but I talked to him after that. He was like, he offered me 190. And I was like, what do you mean he offered you 190? Because I offered him 180 last year. And so I was like, offer you 190. He didn't put this in Podio, And so at that point, I'm a little upset because I'm just like, what? And so that's when I reached out to him. I was just like, bro, like, why you over there outbidding my offers? Thinking that he's going to backpedal or something. And he was just like, oh, well, once you took me off your CRM, basically, like, it gave me the freedom to do what I wanted to do. And so when I read it, I was like, instantly, bro, blood boiling. And I'm like, you know what? I'm like, maybe I'm just not reading it right. You know what I mean? I'm already upset, agitated a little bit. And so I had to reiterate it just to make sure that he was saying what it seemed like he was saying. And so that's when I told him, I was like the freedom to take a lead off my CRM and follow up with him and then outbid me. He was like, oh, you got to understand where I'm coming from. Because I told him, I was like, that's shady, bro. He's like, it's not shady. We don't work together anymore, so I'm just kind of doing me. And and so I'm talking to my wife about it. And I told her, I said, I can see if maybe the person was driving for dollars for me. It was a lead that they brought in.
Right. It's not even a self-generated lead. And even if it is a self-generated, but you can understand it's not a self-generated lead, bro. Like you can understand it. If he built it and he's talking to him, he's like, you know what? I did the whole thing. I legitimately paid for it. Gas, fuck it, bro.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And I'm not tripping off of that. But for this one, it was like this was in before you even came into this thing. So the fact that you just feel like this is okay, like to me, it was just shady as shit. And so, like I said, it just threw me through a loop, man. And I, I had to reach out to people that I really value their opinions just to make sure I wasn't overreacting, And so that was clearly confirmed that I wasn't. And so, yeah, you just got to move accordingly.
Someone in our market put 2 judgments on separate people's heads for doing the same thing for several $1 million. Let's just say that. Mm-hmm. Oh, you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like several $1 million on people's heads for doing that exact same thing.
Exactly.
Like it's stealing intellectual property at that point.
100%,
And I
But
mean,
what's crazy about it, bro? It's not even like I offered 180 and this person came in, offered 190 and locked the deal up. Like the seller's not even ready to sell yet. So it almost makes it worse because, I'm not trying to be arrogant or anything, but like, dude's not going to beat me on the deal. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, he doesn't know what he's doing. Because the fact that he offered what he offered, it was strictly based off of what I offered. Because had he known how to run numbers and stuff like that, that wouldn't have been his offer. So, I'm just going to play it cool and do what I do. And when the time comes, I'll lock it up and then it'll be worse. So,
but like right at the same time, you can't come into a new industry doing that for one.
For sure. Well, you seen the message. That's exactly what I said. I said, I'm not sure this is how you want to like be introduced to our real estate community here in Fresno. We're real tight here. You know what I mean? Like one person trusts you, man. We all trust you. I remember fucking Cletus. One of my first deals, man. The first times that I ever started to require earnest money deposit, right? I fucking told him, hey, I need 2,500 earnest money, non-refundable. He's like, I ain't doing no fucking earnest money, right? Cletus, bro. And it kind of threw me off. I was like, what you mean you ain't gonna do no earnest money, right? But the only reason I was even cool with it is because he had done business with people that I respected. You know what I mean? So it was never a fear on him not performing. And so that's how tight our community is. You'll get away with some shit, strictly based off of who vouches for you. And again, don't do this shit to me. Like out of anybody, you gonna do it to me? Come on, man.
Well, I mean, bro, if I know the buyer personally, right, and like we are friends, like I don't need to do an EMD generally. If it's a fat one, if it's a fat deal, like bro, put in some.
I need that.
Put in some change. I need some security. This one's gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, like I don't do EMD with a lot of, because most of the time either I send it to Dean, and if I don't send it to Dean and I send it to my people, bro, I know everyone by first name. Like I'll just text them like, hey, bro, what's going on here? Yeah. Like, you want this or not? Like, yeah, I'll take it. All right, cool. You know what I'm saying? And it's like it's a half-day conversation and then it's gone. Like I don't have some massive buyers list, and that costs me money, right? I need to get out of my comfort zone and get used to building. Honestly, that's like a completely separate business, but that side of the business to double my money, right?
Exactly.
But yeah, bro, don't burn your name.
It's not worth it, man.
And I'm a name drop. I was talking to Steve today, and he was he's like, I've been burned so much, and I've had so many people leave me, and this is cocky, but I could fill a grave with the amount of people who've left me and not done shit. He was like, he's like, I'm dead inside. The shit doesn't faze me anymore. He's like, man, if you aren't dead inside yet because of how shitty real estate can be about your fucking deals falling through, then you will be dead from this shit. Right.
Yeah.
And so
man.
Think about the amount of people who even break into our market as an actual investor per year.
Oh,
it's like one person, if that, per year in like the Central Valley, dude.
Bro, you see the new bandit signs. Every time I see a new bandit sign, I'm gonna fuck with this bandit sign in my hood. Then I'll call it and they don't answer.
Right, and then they don't answer. Like, what the fuck are you doing? You spending all this money on bandit signs and you ain't fucking answering.
I leave them a voicemail and they still don't call me back. I'm like, man, how you gonna close some deals and you ain't even answering the phone? Bro, don't even call me back.
Another one. Switch out the goddamn Google Voice. Make it so it doesn't say
my bandit signs out there got Google Voice numbers on them.
But does it say Google Voice will connect you? Like, have it be an actual. How you gonna
screen it? You can't screen the call,
right? No, like you guys can't screen your bandit sign calls.
You want to know who the hell it is before you pick it up?
Sign in the middle of the street saying, "I want to sell my house for cash," or it's probably a buyer. At least in Fresno, bandit signs aren't the best in Fresno.
And you want them to call you. Please state your name for the Google Voice subscriber. Hey, this is Rick, man. I'm in a tough spot. I need to sell my shit. No, they're not gonna say that.
You got to, bro. You got to change that. Like, you're coming across telling someone you're going to pay them hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash for their house, and you're going to hit them with a Google Voice number. Like, come on, bro, you got to be more professional than that.
Speak up.
Even if it goes right to voicemail, then you call it right back, so that way, like, you're on top of it. But man,
bro, chances is they call your bandit sign, there's another bandit sign sitting right next to it. If you don't pick up, you ain't got time to freaking call them back because they calling the next number right underneath yours.
Yeah, bro.
You know who does pick up on those bandit signs though?
What's going on, Miguel? Who?
Kobe
and Allen,
bro.
Kobe and Allen still go hard. I was on the phone with Allen the other day.
I caught that bandit sign and she picked it up so quick. I'm like, hey, how's it going? Yeah, man.
No, they go hard, bro. They still go hard. And whoever this Facebook user is, you got to give access to StreamYard if we want to hear you. But thanks for hearing us, man. Or her. Thanks for hearing us.
I hear you.
So yeah, ethics, man. There's nothing. Word is bond, and ethics. I feel like most communities are pretty tight knit. And then once someone gets kind of bad mouthed, to stay away from said person or be really, really, really careful with said person.
Yeah.
At least in ours. I mean, when you get into bigger places and there's just certain, what's it called? Cliques of people, right? Yeah. Like Houston's the third biggest city in America. Like there's going to be all sorts of cliques and then there's going to be bigger people. And it may not be as tight knit as us to where Fresno County is like 1 million people, dude, right? I feel like I know every single real estate investor, at least on our level, who's doing something.
Yeah, for sure. You should. If you're doing something, you should.
Right? If you're doing something, you really should.
Yeah.
You never know who's going to help you out. So we got that.
Wait. Speaking of that, so I get a lead in Podio this week, and I'm like reading it, and the freaking the seller. The seller's freaking is okay. Hold on, I don't want to say it yet. I'm reading it. I'm reading the answers, to the questions. Trying to figure out all this information. And I go up and I look at the freaking name of the seller, and it's freaking Brad. So Brad done took Chris through a whole damn conversation. And I was dying. I'm like,
where the fuck does Brad have the time for that shit, bro?
Brad is an ass. He gave him some good ass shit, bro. The lead looked good, bro. I was pissed after I seen the sell. I was like, fucking Brad, dude.
And then someone inexperienced is gonna call Brad's like, oh yeah, send me your deals.
Yes, I had to tell you that when we talk about knowing people, like that's just kind of where it gets to a point you start seeing certain names and you just start dying, man.
Bro, so get this. I get a message from my call center today saying, Stratton, we just got the best lead ever. And they're like, it's worth $250. He wants $50,000. Like for one, generally like, oh man, I'm sorry guys, but it's generally never legit. But whatever,
it's never
like
a person.
The caller was so hyped, right? The caller was hyped. It was a trainee. The coach was even hyped for him. The coach was like, oh my gosh, I got this smoking hot lead still. It's one of my mentees who put him through it because they wanted to get on a buyer's list. Took him through the whole thing, and I'd send him a picture like, bro, did you really just do this?
Don't do this, bro. It's fun though, man. It's tough because you hate when it happens to you, but then you get it. Because I mean, I've had people like you have Yelp calls me about my Google pages or my Yelp pages to get more to do some SEO. And bro, I don't know who it is. I mean, hey, Yelp got some mean ass salespeople. Because every time I try to get off the phone with them, they're like, "Well, before you go," and one day I realized, dude, I was on the phone with them for like 20 minutes, and I was like, you know what? I was like, you guys are really good at sales. I said that's what I wanted to commend you on that because y'all done kept me on this phone, and I done been trying to get off this phone for about 20 minutes, and every time you done put me in, those situations where I can't say yes or no, so I got to kind of give you an answer to it. And then you want to know why. And so I'm like, fuck, you guys are good. So I just tell him, hey, give me your number, man. I'll give you a call when I'm ready to do
it. What's going on, Elijah? He's
what up, Eli?
He's
Me and Eli did a deal
wholesaler
together.
down in. Oh, did you really?
Yeah, we on Robert's Lane in Bakersfield.
He played college basketball.
Yeah, in Canada. He's a Canadian. Went from being homeless, man, to making some good money in real estate. Me and him chopped it up one day. Real good conversation. Hey, Miss Dixon, have I talked to? Oh, do I talk to him anymore? No, this happened yesterday. So I mean, no, I haven't spoke to him since yesterday, and most likely probably won't, just because I gave him opportunities to kind of just backpedal or something. You know what I mean? But when you don't, just backpedal, bro. Like you're wrong. At least you know what I mean. Like shit.
At least backpedal.
But when you hold your stance on something that you're clearly being, shady, ignorant. I can't support that. I can't keep people like that in my life.
Now, I mean, with this ethics and everything else, we can go into like partnerships, right?
Yeah.
And I want to talk about, really, if you're starting out, I don't think you should have a partner. Like you don't know what your unique ability is. Like you don't know what you're good at. And then you're going to end up like if me and Mike partnered up at the beginning, it would be like just two dudes not doing shit.
Not doing you make calls today? No, I thought you was making calls today.
Right? I mean, like two dudes and all they do is make calls and no back end shit ever gets done. Right? Because you got two visionaries trying to push forward and nothing happens.
Well, that's why we don't partner up. That's why we don't have a business together.
Exactly. We don't have a business. Mike, we've been talking about it forever. Mike, man, what type of business we're going to start? What type of business we're going to start? And then we're talking on the phone the other day. I was like, bro, we just got to go start public speaking. Because like, if we start a business, not a damn thing's going to get done. We're both just going to sit there and talk. Yeah, and then we're like, well, like, I mean, we got to implement this, but like, we need a real integrator, right? Because like, I'm not good at that shit. You're not good at that shit.
Well, speaking of integrating, we did start this podcast together, and we're still not on a fucking platform. Like we go live every week. This is like week 8, bro. It's our 8th podcast. We're still not on a platform. We did knock out our intro and our outro, right? So now we're taking baby steps, but you know what I mean? So yeah.
My assistant's taking care of it, bro. My assistant's
That's what I like to hear.
My assistant's helping us with it. But yeah, it's so like with a partnership, I tell you not to do it just because like you and your 4 friends doing it, and you guys are all going to split $1,000 4 ways. That sucks. It's like kissing your sister, bro. Right? Like, you know what I'm saying? And like, I know you have like all of your heart into it, but your heart's in the right place, but you need to know like this is a business now. And it's okay if you have someone on board with you who doesn't operate in a way that benefits the business, right? The business is an organism now, and the business needs to thrive. You need to keep that thing alive. And the integrator is the one who's punching that heart, keeping that thing pumping.
Yep.
And then you're the brain, right? So you got the heart and the brain. I'd say the visionary is the brain. Integrators are the heart. Integrators.
You know what I mean? Knocking it out. Yeah.
Right, knocking it out. And the visionary is just looking, all right, we got to go here. We got to go here. We got to go here. Integrators, all right, we need this much blood here, this much blood there, right? And so that's the way it's going. You don't know if you partner up with, say, if me and Mike partnered up again. And when I say not a damn thing would get done, it would have been us both just making calls. And we wouldn't get, I mean, we could still get really far, right? We're both really talented.
Yeah, for sure. And that's
just Call Magicians took off because of me and Chase. Off of pure hustle. But then you look at me and Chase with Call Magicians. Chase is an amazing integrator. And so our entire back end is dialed in, everything else. I can do my thing. Chase does his thing. So we're growing at that same pace to where you got all the systems are in place, bro. Like Chase is a great systems guy.
But I tell you that
stuff is there.
And I tell you that because when you tell me about some of this stuff, I'm like, phew, yeah, man, you partnered up with the right person.
Right? And he enjoys what he does, and I enjoy what I do. Yeah. And like he really excels at what he does, and we die without him. And then we die without me, right? But it's a true partnership to where we're both bringing legit skill sets to the table instead of us both having the same skill set.
Yep.
That can get just so hard. And like you see it with new business people altogether, picking the wrong partner.
Because like you said, and it comes down to like we both read Traction. And again, if you haven't read Traction, Traction and Rocket Fuel, right? It's a series.
Yep.
And so you got to read that because you got to be able to identify who you are when you do decide to get into a partnership. And that's how me and Stratton understand that we wouldn't be good business partners, because every good business has an integrator and every good business has a visionary, and we're both visionaries. So we do integration type things in our own businesses because early on it's just us, you know what I mean? And so those are things that you're forced to do, but we don't enjoy doing it. So when you find someone and there's like 100,000 freaking visionaries and like 10 fucking integrators, and Stratton found one.
Right. This is the book I suggest everybody reads, Unique Ability 2.0. This book changed my life, and it puts you through so many different personality tests to really let you know, like, what do you excel at? Like, what are the traits you have? And like, it'll tell you, like, you'd be good in these careers because these careers do these things. Right. And then Aaron said, hire on your weaknesses. I hire, 100%. And now, like, I hire on all my weaknesses. But at the beginning, right, when you got no cash and you got a bootstrap, it'll make
you can't hire money.
Yeah, you can't hire money.
Because if you broke, man, I need to hire some money.
I can only donate so much plasma, boss. I can only donate so much plasma. You have to go hit a lick.
Hit a lick.
Well, yeah, bro. Partnerships and then ethics with those partners. You got to vet them out, man. A good friend of ours got absolutely demolished. They made $300,000 and he saw $30,000 of it. Right? Because he had a bad partnership and he didn't get anything. It was bad. It was a really bad one. Right?
Yeah, I'm not great at math, but what's that, like 10%?
It was 10%. So he was an acquisitions guy. Right? He was an acquisitions guy of said business. That's tough.
Jeez, that's tough.
That's tough. And he was a 50-50 partner. And then like he didn't know what the books were doing. He didn't know what this was doing. He didn't have access to these accounts, right? And then it turns out the guy ends up going to prison, this other partner. You know what I'm saying?
Shit. I think I didn't know it is. Yeah.
But like that makes it hard. Because again, for one, they were both two visionaries.
Yeah.
They had no back-end system work.
Jeez.
And then you don't vet out your partner.
I'm saying one was shady.
Spirals. One of them shady.
Hey, it spiraled like a motherfucker too. Fast.
Like, it's not uncommon. I don't wish that upon anybody, but like, bad situations do happen a lot in business. And I'd tell you, bro, you always got to get it in paper too. Is one thing I've done. We have everything in paper. Like if I died, this happens. If you die, this happens. If you want to get bought out, this happens. All of that stuff. And then that way, like you can look at it on paper. If there ever is a gray line, just go back to the piece of paper. The piece of paper says this, you sign this, you agree to this, and you can't really fight that, you know?
Yeah. And there's something to be said about being a, just a good person, man. Because when you look at it, just based off the situation you just gave us, look who's still standing out of that whole thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like when you do the right thing and you do good by people and you have great intentions, people can see that. And at the end of the day, like you end up coming out on top either way, even though it may feel like you got buried in the situation. And in this case, that person did, 10%, fuck, I pay my acquisitions guy more than that. You know what I mean? And that person wasn't even an acquisitions guy. He was a partner, but person's doing good now.
Person's doing really good now. And then we can kind of transition into talking to sellers. And this is one thing
your own sellers, talking to your own sellers, not mine.
Talking to your own sellers. And talking to them and like, one thing I see a lot of people struggle with is like not knowing what their style is, or people wanting to outsource cold calling out the gate. And then they will fumble every single lead they get with an actual seller because they're not used to just talking to people on the phone.
Yeah.
Right. The only reason I feel comfortable talking to people on the phone is because I cold called for 8 hours a day for I feel like a year.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like 8 to 10 hours a day. Like I'm just putting in dials. Like I need a deal. I need to make money. To where now I'm comfortable talking on the phone with these people. To where if you outsource it and then you just hop on the phone, you've never done sales before, anything else, a lot of people will like fumble those things.
Yeah.
And so when we're talking to sellers, I always say stay relaxed and then know your demographic. My biggest mistake, I remember I was in Alan's office with him, and it's like an 85-year-old guy. And I was just talking to him. I was like, all right, man, I'll talk to you later. And I hung up, right? And he was a seller. And Alan was like, bro, I love your confidence. He's like, I love your confidence. I love how relaxed you are, but you got to know your demographic. He's 85.
Yeah,
you can't be calling him man, right? Like you just have
All right, bro. All right, man.
All right, bro. I'll catch you. Like, again, we're going into this spot to where you have to hold yourself as a professional now.
Yeah.
Right. If you come across as unprofessional or that you don't know what you're talking about, that seller's not even going to have any confidence in your offer. Yeah. Right. And that's when you see all these posts on Facebook like, well, the seller's demanding this. The seller doesn't believe me. The seller's this. The seller's that. Right. Mm-hmm. The person's not confident whatsoever because they don't have a mentor or whatever, or they haven't experienced. They don't have enough experience. Yeah. And then two, they're probably just not carrying themselves the right way.
Yeah. So, okay. So it's kind of trying to chime into that. I've been talking to a guy who's, he had a lead and pretty good lead. And he's still in his 9 to 5 or whatever. And so he had an appointment today, but he had work, I believe yesterday, and the seller wanted to meet yesterday, but the person had to go to work. And I was like, bro, like you need to go to that appointment. And he's like, yeah, I got work. I don't get off till this time. I'm like, bump work. Like, bump work, bro. Call in or you know what I mean? Call them and tell them like, hey, I got an appointment. Show up a little bit later. I was like, because what are you going to make at that job? Am I going to go sit there all day? Whatever it may be. I'm like, bro, this is the deal. Like, you're going to make at least 15 grand on this deal. Fast forward, person went on the appointment today. And the seller called him right before he was heading out the door and told him that she was offered by somebody else and buying another property that she had, but they would only pay that price for this one if she sold both of them together. Right. And so this is the deal that he's like, man, I learned a lesson. I probably next time he's like, I'm calling in from work. You know what I mean? And so, but he was, nervous going into the conversation because the seller wanted to use a different title company. And so she wanted to use a different title company, and it was just a conversation of just going on this appointment and stuff like that. And I just told him, like, bro, you got to relax. He was like, I'm like, I said, you feel that way because you know that you want to wholesale it. So it's like almost like guilt. I was like, you can't go into it like that. I said, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what the hell you want to do with the property, right? I said, you go into it like you're just buying it. In all honesty, I said, someone can drop some money in your lap tomorrow, and maybe you do want to close on it yourself.
Well, wholesaling is an exit, dude.
It's an exit.
Wholesaling is just an exit.
So I said, so you can't think like that. At the end of the day, I'm like, you go in there. I said, and don't over explain yourself. Don't, because you're going to go in there. And I said, people who talk too much, they're going to be like, shit. Like, why are you trying to, like, you're not trying to sell me. Don't tell them, only tell them what they ask. And that's even if it has anything to do with what needs to go on. Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't ask me what I'm going to do with the property after I close on it. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. Just understand that we talked about this price. This is what I'm committed to. No matter what happens, this is what I'm giving you. Because the rest of it don't matter. We close on this house. Don't worry about the tenant. That's my tenant now. You know what I mean?
Well,
So
if you really cared about the tenant, you wouldn't be selling the house.
you wouldn't be selling the house. So I think one thing that people can do when they first get started with talking to sellers is that they can over explain and they can talk too much and they'll talk themselves right out of a deal.
Oh, every time.
Yeah.
Right. And you see, again, like in all these Facebook groups, you see people saying this or saying that or saying this and saying that. And the majority of their issues is just confidence.
Yeah. That's all it is, man. And you got to understand. And I think the biggest thing is, it's funny because they tell you early on, they say, never go into a deal like you need the deal. Because, I mean, let's just be realistic. Early on, you do, what I mean? You do need it, but they do smell it. And so you just have to go into deals understanding like, I might lose this bitch and you got to be okay with it. And the moment you tell yourself, you know what, I can lose this deal and I'm okay with it because I'm good enough to go find another one. The way that you enter into talking to these sellers is going to be completely different because you know where you need to be. You know where you got to have it at, and it either works or it doesn't.
Well, and this is sales, period. Right? I am financially independent and I don't need this business. And just tell that to yourself every time before you're making calls. I'm financially independent and I don't need this business, right? Like you don't want to have commission breath.
Yeah.
And that way you aren't coming off as over aggressive, and you don't want to get over aggressive and then lock something up to where you shrink your own margins.
Yeah.
Or you do a deal for no margin. So that one's
well, because I told you, even with the deal that we just dispoed, right? How they brought a friend who was a realtor on and said, oh, can you send us your highest and best offer? She has an offer way higher than that. And again, I could have been like, oh, well, what's the offer? Where do I need to be at? Like, I mean, I could have went into desperate mode. But, sometimes you just got to trust your instincts, right? Trust your gut. If there was a higher offer or if there was a better offer, she would have never even been talking to me if it was that much better. You know what I mean? And so at that point, I was just like, hey, this is the price we negotiated. This is the price we talked about. This is the price that we both believed that was fair. If there's an offer that's higher, I have no interest in getting into a bidding war. If it is higher and they're going to do what they say that they're going to do, I highly encourage you to just take that
it, run with it, dude.
You know what I mean? Like I highly suggest you do that. Oh, well, just send us your offer and then okay. Don't. Sometimes you got to call people out on their shit. And if you end up being wrong, well, fuck it, you're wrong.
No, you're wrong. And like, you lost the bet.
Whatever.
You lost the bet, but you don't need the business. You can't ever.
And speaking about ethics in relationships, I have no problem strong arming a seller because at the end of the day, if they had a higher offer and we are able to pay more, I can easily call Dean or Stratton or Jason or Cletus and have them, hey, this is what I offered. They had an offer here. I tried to strong arm it. The offer must be real, right? Now, at that point, we can enter in a back door. A whole nother person can come in and start bidding on this property, and I'm still going to get profit from it because I brought them this lead. But when you burn people, you can't do that with people. I've done that. You know what I mean? I've come in and I've bidded dumbass low. We do that. Come dumbass low. And if they take it, great. You still partner up with the person because that person allowed you the safety to be able to go in that low.
Oh, yeah. Well, and what was I going to say?
Sorry. I got seller breath.
No, that was a good. I mean, I've done that for Scott before, right? To where Scott's like, hey, man, this dude wants one more offer. Like, okay, I'll call him and give him an offer. If I get it, give me a split. Right? You know what I'm saying? And then that's just kind of like the way it is because they're shopping you.
Yeah.
That's why I see it. Like they're shopping me.
Yeah. Now I'm your highest offer. What's up? You got 5 offers and I'm your highest one. Yeah, I made the other 4 call you, but still.
I mean, to an extent though, right? Like I've bought houses from when like my marketing was just everywhere.
Yeah.
Right. I remember with Alan, this happened to 2 different sellers when we were going hard. Right. So we are sending RVMs every day, hardcore. We're sending so many mailers. We have a full in-house call center. And then what's going on, Dino?
It's my man.
Master Dean. Right. And so we got all this stuff going in. And she's like, well, I got all these people who want my property. I was like, no, it's us. It's us.
It's all 8 of us in here. We want it.
It's us. Like all those Jennifers. Yeah, no, that's us. Like, we're Jennifer. We're all Jennifer.
We're all Jennifer around here. Fucking Dean. You got me blushing, man.
Right. And so you want that omnipresence. And like if they're going to get confidence, they get confidence. If you lose the deal, so what? You lose the deal, man. Just move on and keep on pushing, especially if you're newer. And like you just don't need the business. And then like for me, I won't do business with assholes. Like, okay, yeah, if it's like a $500,000 deal, I'll do business with an asshole. But like the people
it gotta be kind of meaty, you know what I mean?
But like the people who are the hardest to deal with, it's usually the smallest margin deals. And they're, you know what I'm saying? Like you're usually gonna make like $2,000. Like, great, that covered marketing. That doesn't count software overhead.
Yeah, with me and Dean just lost a deal like that. It was unfortunate. I think the buyer, bro, is somewhere like dead in a field or something. Like we have no idea what happened to this buyer. Like, dude was good at like 90%. You know what I mean? He went 90% of the way, dropped off earnest money, like did all this stuff, and then just like fell off planet Earth. And dude is, he's vetted, he buys deals, and it was just a weird situation, bro. But the deal was like a slim deal already. So it was one of those things where it's just like, ain't that a bitch?
What?
If he emailed you, was he in prison or something? We were supposed to close on this on Friday.
And you email them today.
So it was,
Nah, bro, I'd be so hot.
Hey, my seller said, he's like, I'm not extending it. He's like, I understand. He's like, I understand how it is. And, it's unfortunate. He's like, I'm not extending it, bro. And I was like, damn, bro. So again, we threw him. Dean's team's going to reach out to him next week as a new seller, and we'll get it locked up that way. But that's crazy, man.
What's it called? So the buyer said he was busy opening up a restaurant ready to close next Friday. Fuck no.
He clearly didn't read the contract because the fucking closing date was the 14th. The closing date was the 14th, bro.
Or get the title company's phone calls. Or Dean's phone calls.
Bro. You can't. Poor guy. But again, it was a slim deal. That's what you remember, like you were saying, like it's like the slimmest deals be the ones that just fucking give you a damn heartache.
Right. Well, I posted this the other day. You have the $500 client who expects everything out of you. It expects you to change their life and everything else. And then you got the $50,000 clients like, cool, man. Like, so what's going on? What needs to happen? Yeah. All right, this. All right, cool, man. All right, let's go. To where the people who are used to being around money, and I learned this from Alan early on. He was like, bro, the hardest ones I have to deal with are the shit ones to where they aren't used to like making these types of transactions. Easy ones I have is when a lawyer looks at it, he's like, all right, cool. He's worth a couple million. And he's selling a $300,000 house. You're buying it at $2, maybe like $175. He's like, all right, man, cool. When do I sign?
Yeah. You know what I mean? Because they don't need the money. Those sellers don't need the money, but you know what I mean? They're selling it for other reasons. Yeah.
They're used to it. Like they're used to making transactions like that.
Yeah.
Right. To where if someone is investing $500 and like they think it's going to change their life, that's a lot harder. The person who's dropping 35 grand, they know like, oh, I got to put in the work. I just need you to tell me what work I need to do.
Exactly. It's different mindsets, different levels. There's levels to this shit.
Man, is there? Yeah, I got sunned this week. I was talking.
I was telling my wife about this when I was like, "Can you imagine?"
Oh my god!
You gotta tell the story,
bro. So I'm on the phone with my mentor, and I talk to him for like 45 minutes once a week, and I try and like have all sorts of questions like ready and like shooting at him so I can get as much out of him as humanly possible. Cause like I'm blessed to even be able to talk to him.
Yeah.
And 45 minutes is a long time, right?
Yeah.
And I ask him what keeps him going and what keeps him driven. And he starts talking, and then he says something. He's like, but you don't even worry about that shit. You need to worry about what you're doing. That it's not even on your level yet. And it just keeps on going like it was nothing.
Like, can you imagine being on a level that you're trying to explain something to somebody, and it just requires so much money, you know what I mean? And you're just talking about it in a language that's so fucking foreign. It's like, but I don't want to talk to you about this, and not in a fucked up way. I don't want to, I don't want to put this on you. I don't even want to put this on you, man, because you won't even understand it, because it's just so far above your head that it's not, you know what I mean? It's not, I don't want to get it all in there and confuse you.
He was like, bro, you're not there yet. Like, you don't even worry about that. I was like, what? Like, I've never had somebody like really like straight sun me in such a way to where like, hey, no, like this is the adults table. This is the adults table.
We'll tell you about talking when the adults is talking. You get over there with the kids.
Right. I mean, but then it really humbles you to know, like, because like it's easy to be in your market and feel like hot shit, or like not surround yourself with like people who are doing more. You know what I mean? It's easy to do that. And then
that's the great thing about our market.
Right. Well, we have I think how open the people who are doing real shit is amazing.
Yeah.
Right. For like people who are doing like real shit. And I have their phone numbers and I can talk to them and they don't care.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I mean, Dean acts like the small guy in the room and he's not.
Yeah. He's a pretty big human.
You know what I mean? But that's just like the community. Like, it's just, unless you know. And like when we had that whole thing that we had at that little dinner that we had, you got people over there talking about hotel conversions, and I'm over there looking, and I'm just like, what the fuck are they talking about? They could easily just turn around and say, hey, you stay over there. You don't worry about these hotel conversions.
They're playing politics now, right? Like they're playing
100% politics.
They're playing politics now. They're not playing,
different tax and freaking
having to meet with council members,
non-profit organizations, and bringing the money this way to get this type of write-off to do this. And I'm like, shit, bro. Like, I'm just trying to make some money. I'm not even at the point.
Still a couple deals, right? I'm trying to fulfill a couple deals. I own a couple Amazon stores. I guess I'm cool.
Jeez, that's crazy, man. It's really levels to it.
But yeah, getting sunned, I think it's good for everybody. I get sunned probably. Well, now I get sunned once a week.
You paid to get sunned.
I pay to get sunned and just.
That's how you level up.
That's how you level up, man. You want people who stretch you. But I love it because a lot of people don't have anyone who's even successful in their lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's really hard to even know where you're going if you don't know where it is the only way I can put that, right? To where, let's say, a lot of people don't know a millionaire. Like, just flat out, a lot of people don't know a millionaire in their life whatsoever. Maybe an uncle's worth a little bit of money, but they don't know anyone, and so they don't even know what it looks like. They don't even know where to start. They don't know what to do. And so that's why I love like the mentorship aspect, right? And that's why I love go and work for free. Like me working for free for Alan was awesome because like I got to see, like I talked about, like when we first started, like, bro, I never even thought owning a jet was possible. Right? Like I never even thought that type of stuff was even humanly possible. And now I see like these people achieving these amazing things, and like half of it is knowing that is real.
Yeah. It just seems like, because it does. It just seems so unreal. And it's funny because I was, it was a few months ago. I mean, not even a few months ago, about a month ago. Like it was the first time I had seen over $1 million in a bank account from someone, and it was just like, whoa, You know what I mean? And like, so even at that it was definitely, it's something that stretches you. You know, you see someone close to you who has that type of money, and it's just like, okay, you know what I mean? It's encouraging. It's like, okay, there is a next step. You go from 100,000 your first year to 250 your second year, and then you look at 500 and you're like, shit, 500 would be the next step. But I'm like, fuck that. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of how you start seeing it, because now you see things a whole lot differently, and it's like, well, why should I stop there? Like, you kind of got the momentum, and you know how shit works. You know, why stop at that point?
Yeah, I mean, it is. If anybody else does need like help, at least seeing what successful people are, man, I tell you to reach out to anyone in your market, and even just business people, right? I have business people in my life who have achieved awesome things who I've just met through like my friends. My friend on my high school basketball team, his dad did their company did $70 million in revenue, and just like flat out sales this year.
7 or 70?
70. Right. And so like I went out of my way when I was back home to like sit there and talk to him, to like this is real. Like, okay, he has an organization that does sales, like, and just bask in it. And like, it's real. Like, okay, what issues do you have? What do I need to do to get there? Like, what steps did you take? I don't know. It's just amazing.
And all the time you hear it from those people who have reached that type of level. The first thing you hear them talk about is like, you do too much.
What do you mean?
Like you do too much, as in like delegating.
Oh yeah, every time.
And organizing, and like all of it is the things that when you first getting started, you're afraid of doing. You know, and it's like you're not the best to do it. You need to find someone who is the best at doing it. Like Aaron said earlier, you got to hire to your weaknesses, because those are going to be the people that are going to take you to levels that you never thought that you'd be able to get to, because at the end of the day, you weren't the person for that role.
Well, and like you can't. So what made you $100,000 is not going to make you $1 million. Right? There's plenty of people working as hard as they humanly can, and they're still stuck at a point because you have to change something, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to lever something. I was talking to Nick Perry on my podcast last week, and he was like, the lever I had to pull was get the junior acquisitions people to free up our salespeople's time, right? And the salespeople is what freed him up to do what he does. But like him making all those sales calls, I think he has like 4 sales guys. How would Nick humanly take all those calls to generate that amount of revenue?
There's no way.
That amount of money. Like there's no way. It's not humanly possible.
Yeah.
So you have to figure out those levers and stuff like that.
That's what tracking those numbers, right? If one person can generate $100,000 or one person can generate $250,000, just imagine if you can train 3 more people that way who can all make $250,000.
Right. And then you're
sounds so simple.
It sounds simple.
Sounds simple as shit.
How cool is his office though?
Oh, bro, that was legit.
Yeah, his office is awesome.
You know, he had me when he said they had beer in the fridge.
we got energy drinks. We got some beer. We do motivational meetings. But like even seeing that, bro, you see it's possible. Like it's motivating because they're like, wow, man, like he's built a legit organization. Nick is one of the very few people who doesn't like stay in their wholesale business.
Yeah.
You know, I think a misconception of people are everyone's like, I want to scale, I want to scale, I want to scale. A lot of people, either they go into education and they teach you how to scale to a point to where like you're still somewhat involved, or they level up and they start doing hotel conversions. You know what I'm saying? Or they get into just bigger deals, or they get into multifamily or self-storage. So don't scale yourself into oblivion thinking that you need to keep doing all this and get there. Because there's different types of scaling. You can grow in different ways, right?
Yeah.
You just need wholesaling is the revenue generator. If you want to make the biggest wholesale company in the world, more power to you. Yeah. But don't pigeonhole yourself.
Yep. I told you, my wholesaling this year, I mean, all it's doing is legitimately funding my Airbnb portfolio at that point.
Yeah, like all wholesaling does is just fun for me to go buy stuff that I think is going to make me more money.
Yep. Boom.
That's all.
We're at an hour and 4 minutes.
All right, man. Let's hop off. Well, does anybody have any questions? I swear to God, we're going to get questions one day.
One day, man. One day when people believe that we're, we can answer them, I guess.
Right? When people think that we know what we're talking about. But oh well. I do this for me.
Yeah,
I do this for me.
Yeah.
I do this to talk to my friend Mike on the computer once a night.
You know what I'm
we can
saying?
catch up without our wives bugging us.
They're going to be the ones hopping in on these questions. Hey, y'all done yet?
Kalani watching it.
Oh yeah. Bro, when I'm done, I get not questioned, but like I get critiqued. Oh, your energy. Oh, your energy. Oh, you gonna go in there for an hour and that's how you gonna be?
What's it called? Kalani is the most supportive person I've ever known. I will be talking to someone and there'll be one like eyeball.
Yeah,
I know it's her. Man, she is amazing.
That's all that matters, man. You got deals.
I actually thought about one. Dean, you need to text me back about that freaking. I've been buying. We just bought a Walmart store. We have our Amazon store. We're about to buy another Walmart store. And then the creative finance stuff is what I liked. And then I'm currently in a self-storage course, learning how I can buy some of those.
What stuff are you buying that's working? Man, I'm not buying nothing outside of wholesaling.
Airbnb stuff, bro. You're buying Airbnb stuff.
Oh, we are buying Airbnb stuff. Now, I actually got a funny little story that happened this morning. So I'm taking my son to school. We're getting in the car. I'm like, Tyson, let's go. Hop in the car. We got, you're supposed to be there at, 11:50. It's 11:52. Right? He's hopping in the car, and as we're going down the street, an Amazon truck drives by, right? And he goes, oh, he's like, there they go with mom's stuff. And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, yeah, every time they come, they stop at our house. And I'm like, that's bad, bro. When the Amazon truck is driving down your street and your kid automatically assumes it's because his mom done bought some shit. And so I told my wife about it. She's like, it's not like I'm just buying stuff. She's like, it's for the Airbnb because we're buying the platform beds and the mattresses and curtains and shower, all this stuff that we're buying. And so they're just coming in every day. And so we got a garage full of shit. A bunch of boxes and stuff. And so I guess that's what I'm buying outside of wholesaling. So all this stuff I got to carry over there.
And Dean says the day's not over yet.
I sent him a pretty nasty deal. What you sent it? Just sent it to Dean for? You need to send it to me.
It was pretty nasty, bro.
Bro, I know. Don't send that shit to me. But no, Aaron, man, I ain't got no deals. You guys, the two deals I had went out already, and I think we just signed both of them. Just signed the last one yesterday.
I quit doing deals altogether. I quit wholesale. I'm done, Aaron. I stepped out.
Whatever leads you need, man, just send them to me and I'll work them.
I stepped out, Aaron. I'm done.
Same here. Just got rid of a stove and a freestanding tub out of our garage. Sheesh.
You should have Aaron decorate your Airbnbs.
My wife decorates our Airbnbs.
Sorry.
I can't hire another woman to do what my wife's already doing.
Hey, bro.
Whoa.
Hey, bro, I'm not saying
that. Erin did throw it out there like, hey, if you need any help, and I'm like, my wife wants to do it, and so I can't go to my wife, but hey,
I don't think you're doing a very good job. I think
you're doing a good. I think Erin should help you.
I've seen Erin's work. She does really good. You should probably take a couple. You should probably go buy her course. You should really just go buy her course.
Does Erin have a course? She should probably do a course. I mean, all their flips are amazing.
I know. Yeah. All right, I gotta go.
I got to get in here because I've already threatened my son because he wouldn't do his homework. He told my wife he didn't want to do his homework. And he's been working on his homework since he got home from school, which would have been about 2:40, 3 o'clock. And he said it's taking forever. Well, because his ass won't sit down and do it.
Is he in the room with you?
Oh no, he's not in here. I just told him when I brought dinner home, I said, "Hey, it's 6 o'clock. My podcast starts at 7. You're not gonna like me if when this podcast is over at 8 o'clock, if that homework's not done."
And so you're buying your son some time?
I'm buying him some time. You know when your mother used to always say, it hurts me more than it hurts you. Right before you got your butt whooped. Well, bro, like I'm hurting. No one told you about the guilt of being a parent. You know what I'm saying? Like I fully understand it now. I don't want to go be mean. I don't want to go be that parent, but I also don't want my kid to be an ass. You know what I mean? It's like at what point do you allow your kid to continue to get away with stuff, and them think that it's okay? Because at the end of the day, you don't do anything when they're younger, and then by the time they become adults, they're assholes.
Bums.
You know what I mean? Bums. So he tells me every day, why we gotta go to school? You remember those people that you want to give money to all the time?
They probably did go to school. I'm homeschooling my son. I don't like school.
Which is a good option. Good option.
I don't like school. I had one more thing. I forgot it. Oh well. All right. Thank you, guys. Oh, what book are you reading?
I'm not reading, bro. I got a newborn baby. My wife purchased a course. We're learning how to do cries and swaddle the baby. Bro, we're learning some new shit here. On our third child, I think we're finally getting this shit right. It like teaches you like how to just like little things that you just, bro, like the lady picked up the baby that was just crying, bro, because the baby don't like the swaddles. And she did that, and then she turned her around, turned the face away from her, and then like kind of started like with this motion, and it hits a shh. Baby knocked the hell out. I was like, oh, bro, that's what it looks like. So, we tried it. And sure enough, her ass was out.
I forget you do have a freaking newborn, bro.
I was like, bro, this is amazing. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, we're just figuring out this parenting thing for the third time.
What book? We're reading Extreme Ownership because I had 2 people not take responsibility in one of my companies today. I pretty much said, if I don't get a goddamn book receipt today, heads are going to roll. So they all went and bought the book.
That's how you teach a lesson without having to teach the lesson.
All right. The book will teach the lesson.
The book will teach the lesson.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week. Hopefully we'll be in our studio.
Peace.